Hello again and welcome back to part 4 of the Sweet Harmony mandala throw tutorial. We're going to be working from this row here through to this row on this part of the tutorial. So we're starting with row 33. I'm using white double knit. We're still on the 5mm hook and I'm going to start with a slip stitch onto the hook. We're going to start in the corner space from the last round here. I'm going to start with a standing double. Into this corner I'm going to work 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 more doubles, all into that same space. We're now going to skip the first stitch. We're going to work a double into the next stitch, chain 1, we skip the next stitch and work a double into that front post double from the last row, chain 1, skip the front post single that was around the puff stitch, and we're going to work a double into that next double. So this is now the repeat of the pattern. We're going to skip a stitch, work a double, chain 1, skip a stitch and work a double. We're going to work exactly the same all the way along each side with the 2 doubles, the chain 1 and 2 doubles in each of the corner stitches. So if you want to pause the video at this point and work your row 33, it's just skipping the first stitch, work a double, chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double, chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double. We work all the way to the end. And when we get to the corner here, we're just going to work as we did at the beginning with the 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles into the corner. Start with the double, chain 1, skip 1, and we're back working the the pattern repeat along this next side. So I'll leave you to work all the way around all 4 sides and I'll meet you for the beginning of row 34. So to start row 34, I'm using the darker of the 3 blues, slip knot onto the hook, and in the corner space here we're going to work a double 2 together cluster, chain 1, and we're going to do a second double 2 together cluster here, chain 1, and then we're going to do another 2 of the double 2 together clusters with 1 chain in between. So we've got 4 double 2 together cluster into that corner space. We're going to skip to the chain space, which is this one here, and we're going to work a single into that chain space there, and then into the next chain space, which is this one here, we're going to work 5 doubles. And then in the next chain space we're going to work a single, and then the next chain space here we'll work 5 doubles. This forms the pattern repeat for this row. 3, 4 and 5, and then a single into that next chain space. So we're just going to carry on all the way along to the end where we'd have a single in the last chain space, and then we'll join with a slip stitch to the first of the double two together clusters. So if you want to just carry on and work this row, remembering 5 doubles in this space and a single into the next one, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. When we reach the corner, we do the last single into that space, and then we're going to skip the double and the 2 doubles from the corner. We're going to work the 4 double 2 together cluster with a chain 1 in between. Chain 1, there's number 3, chain 1 and the 4th one there. We're going to skip the 2 stitches again from the last corner and that first double, and we work a single into that first chain space. We're just going to work the next 3 sides exactly the same. A single in the first chain space and then the 5 doubles into the next chain space. We just repeat that pattern all the way along. So I'll let you pause the video at this point until you've worked all the way around, and I'll meet you for the next row. And on to row 35. We're going to start again in the corner space. So it's the corner space between the 2 clusters here, and we've got 2 clusters there. We're starting in this space here. We're going to work 2 doubles. I'm using the paler of the 3 blues for this row. Chain 1 and 2 more doubles. We're going to work a front post double around each of the 2 clusters here from the corner. So a front post double around that first cluster and a front post double around the next one. We're now going to work into this first single with a V-stitch. So that's a double, a chain and a double all into that same stitch. We're going to skip 2 stitches of the 5 doubles. We're going to work a single into the 3rd double of those 5 doubles there. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, which is the next 2 doubles, and we work a V-stitch into the next single. So again, this is the pattern repeat for this row. Got a V in the single, skip 2, work a single and a V-stitch into the next single. So there we've got the pattern repeat. When we reach the last single on this side, we're going to work a V into that single, and then we're going to work a front post double around the 2 clusters from the corner. So we work a front post double, front post double, and then we're back into the corner to start the repeat of the side. So again, we start with 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles, and then into that V, we do the 2 front post doubles around the 2 clusters. 1 and 2, and then we start the pattern repeat again. A V-stitch into the first single, and then a single into that middle double. We skip 2, single, skip 2, and we're back onto the V-stitch into the single, skip 2, work the single, skip 2, work the next V. So that's the pattern repeat for this row, and we just do the same on all 4 sides, and then join at the end with a slip stitch into the first double of the corner. So again, if you want to pause the video at this point, and I'll meet you when we get to the start of the next row. And on to row 36. Again, starting with a slip knot onto the hook, and I'm working in white because this is another of the popcorn rows, and I've done all of my popcorn rows with the white yarn. So we're going to start in the corner space here with 2 doubles, chain 1 and 2 doubles. We're going to front post double around the next 4 stitches. So we've got 1 around the first of the doubles from the corner, so there's 2, and then we're going to front post double around each of these 2 front post doubles from the last row. So at the start of this row we've got the 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles, and then we've got 4 front post doubles. We're now going to work a popcorn into this first V, and again I'm doing a 4 double crochet popcorn, but if you want a bigger popcorn you would need to do the 5 doubles before you pull that loop through. Pull tight and chain 1 to fasten off. We're now going to do a front post double around, sorry, we do a chain 1 after the popcorn, and then we've got this single here from the previous row. We're going to work a front post double around that single, chain 1, and then we're back into the V-stitch for the next popcorn. Pull tight and a chain 1 to fasten off, and then we've got a chain 1 after the popcorn, and we work a front post double around that single, chain 1, and then we're back to the popcorn. With a chain 1. So if you want to carry on along this row, I'll meet when we get to the last popcorn. And don't forget to do the front post double into the single in between these popcorns. Just finish that one off, and then I'll let you pause the video and I'll meet you when we get to the last popcorn of this side. So we've reached the last popcorn. I'll just pop something dark underneath so that you can see a little bit better than just the white on white. So I've done the last front post double around the single, chain 1. I'm going to do a popcorn into this last V-stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to work a front post around each of the next 2 front post stitches, and then we do a front post double around those last 2 doubles of the side. So we've got a front post double around each of the front post doubles and a front post double around each of the last 2 stitches of the side, and then we go back onto the corner, which is 2 doubles, a chain 1, 2 doubles. That's going to bring you ready to start the next side. So we've got the 4 front post doubles, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that takes us onto the first V-stitch where we're going to work the popcorn. Oops, run out of yarn there. So I'll join in another ball of yarn. I'll let you carry on working all 4 sides exactly the same. We're starting with 2 doubles, chain 1, 2 doubles, 4 front post doubles, and then we go straight into the popcorn, into the V-stitch, chain 1, front post double around the single, chain 1 and a popcorn into the next stitch, and so on. And I'll see you when we get to the end of this round. And on to row 37. I'm going to start again in that corner space between the 2 sets of 2 doubles here. We're going to do treble 2 together clusters, so I'm going to start with a standing treble but only go through the loops twice, and again, and then we pull through all 3 loops together, chain 1, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing